Welcome to War of the Mind podcast with Loren Johnson, your weekly dose of real-life experience for you, by you, giving listeners the chance to share their story while helping others and giving us all the opportunity to listen or be silent no more. Paving the way for War of the Mind to share these life stories of struggles to triumphs, failures to promise. Here, we are all one, and as one, we can overcome life's journey towards finding our purpose.
And welcome back here on another episode of War of the Mind. This would be episode 23.4. We're just going to continue on the self-care journaling part that we talked about last episode. But this one, we can go a little more in depth of the self-care and tips and hints that you can use for some of the top things that people use for self-care at their homes. So first up would be basically, I'm not sure how many of you do this. I kind of quit for a while. I should have been doing it more often. I kind of took a break from the journaling. Also took a break from affirmations, which is a huge thing that goes with, a part of journaling, or basically just affirmations that you can keep telling yourself during the day to help you. So, there's 10 simple, yet powerful affirmations. Affirmation, is to affirm. That's the definition. Deep down, we know that we are enough and believe in our dreams and ourselves, but with the constant distraction of everyday life, school, work, friends, family, social media nowadays, we can lose touch with ourselves and our inner voice of guidance and support, and instead end up listening to our inner center. Affirmations daily is a great way to come to a place of self-love and acceptance and maintain our mental health. And I think the maintaining our mental health is a huge part. Recently just started working out again. That's really helping with my mental health. What is an affirmation? An affirmation, is a word or sentence that affirms positive belief that ourselves, the world, and others. These words help us to move through the emotions and tap into our subconscious mind, creating new positive beliefs, a belief system that supports, our self-growth, spiritual growth, you name it. That all goes into self-care. And the science behind affirmations, studies have found that when, we repeat affirmations, the reward centers of the brain. So you're taking the center of your brain through neural pathways, light up and change. The areas related to the happiness and positivity can decrease stress when practicing affirmations. It can not only, help shift your mood, but help you feel motivated to take action towards, your goals in all areas of life, fitness and health, and I'm going to add in there also mental health is a big time, especially nowadays. how do you use affirmations? So affirmations can be repeated in a quiet, calm space, throughout the day. Whenever you need a mood boost, it's best to stay. They say it's best to say out loud at the vibrations of the sound that impact us more. But if not possible, you also can say it quietly or in your mind. Both ways will still have an effect on our emotions. One tip is to look in the mirror while repeating the words to help associate them with the imagining part, imagining ourselves in certain, whatever our positive situation is. Doing this when we are getting ready, first thing in the morning is particularly helpful and can improve how you feel for the whole day. It kind of sets the tone. Some top affirmations I have that I've used. We'll just go into those. Trying to find where I put the last one. I am confident and clear about who I am. 2, grateful for any challenge that helps me grow. 3, I accept who I am and know I'm doing my best. I'm just reading these out of my journal because I kind of looked through what my top 10 were. I am strong and capable, whatever I set my mind to achieve. 5, I let go of stress and negativity. 6, I'm kind and generous, supportive towards others. 7, I trust my intuition and follow my gut. 8, I am beautiful exactly the way I am. 9, I don't let others' emotions or comments affect how I feel about myself or the world. Now, I think those are probably my top affirmations I have. Oh, I forgot number 10. I love who I am. When you think about practicing self-care, what emotions arise for you? Does the thought of self-care act like a daily morning motivation, or going to bed 30 minutes earlier feel exciting or daunting to you? Chances are, if you answered something along, the lines of it was exciting, you have already established a self-care routine in your life. That's good for you. This is a wonderful place to be, Not all of us are there yet. If you don't practice self-care, it's probably due to these 3 negative emotions: shame, guilt, and unworthiness. And I know, for myself, I carry a lot of shame, guilt, just past situations that I, could have did different and didn't, that have affected me. I gotta stop saying but we also have, the top, some other emotions that, are probably better than guilt, shame, and unworthiness, and those would be self-nurture. The commonality between these 3 emotions: awareness of your thoughts, healing, commit, and self-nurture. Those are the 3. The commonality between these emotions, are that they habitually thought patterns through above establish themselves in your brain. It doesn't mean that you are true or real. What that presents is an opportunity to shift the brain's patterns and rewire them with more, uplifting and empowering thoughts over time. And with repetition, the thoughts and synapses, weave grooves or pathways into the brain. It is easier to have the same thoughts than to create a new pathway. Hence how any habitual thought pattern is formed. That's for self-nurture. Now, awareness of your thoughts. So the way you retain our brain is by conscious repetition of a new thought or belief. Let's apply this concept to our negative emotions around self-care. Just start by carving out 5 minutes of your day to do a good thing for yourself. Do this for a week, whether it's reading, stretching, eating outside, simply getting in tune with your breathing. The next week, commit 10 minutes. Gradually build the practice up over time, on your time and on your terms. The point is to commit. And that's, a huge part of self-care is committing to taking care of yourself. And when we make it the point, to override those deep-seated emotional reactions and commitment to self-care, we literally, create new pathways for the neurotransmitters in our brains, and over time, retain our brains. This is ongoing commitment to self-care can actually shift our brain patterns and beliefs that ourselves, such as unworthiness. Over time, your self-care routine can also, help eliminate feelings of guilt, shame that may arise as a result of having the belief of unworthiness. Now, like a lot of what we've talked about so far, I've had to use for the TBIs. I have had 2 of them. I suffered one in 2014 and had my second in 2019. I struggle with short-term memory, and they ruled me severely cognitive impaired. Don't really like that term because I don't feel like I'm like that, but I struggle, to have my days where it's good, and I have my days where they're terrible, and I try to stay away from people when they're bad days because some of them are nightmares, PTSD, and stress, and I don't want to take it out on loved ones, and some of it's due to overdoses from dying. Self-care is a huge part of what I have to manage daily because that's what's going to keep me going. And this is a huge way for me to build those neural pathways that can keep me, moving forward and learning new things that I struggle with and maybe struggled with yesterday. But if I keep continuously doing it and trying, I'm going to end up, eventually getting it. And the part that struggle for me is everything came easy for me, like sports and school. I didn't really have to study. I just took the tests and would ace them. And wrestling came easy. Football came easy. I didn't really have to even try. And it wasn't until, I started getting these injuries and TBI and having health problems, and I'm fighting for my life, and I've never had to fight for anything in my life other than being told by my father to suck it up and get out on that mat even if you're hurt. And that's probably what's pushed me and kept me going alive today, because if it weren't for that push and drive, I probably would have gave up a long time ago. And people ask me all the time how I keep going and how I have not given up. Let's get me teary-eyed. And I never could find an answer. And I guess, it's grace and resilience. And I still have a purpose here for being here, and it's to help other people facing adversity in my similar situation and going through my similar situation. And if I can help one person per speech, I'm okay. And I know I helped somebody, and that's my goal. And my goal is to start getting in front of bigger crowds, and that's where I want to be, is, helping people. And it means a lot to me. Because I've been through a lot, and the main thing I want is to help people. And it's hard when, you want to get there, but you always hit roadblocks, and they want you to have experience. Well, I have experience in all the stuff that's happened to me, but I don't have the speaking experience because I worked in law enforcement. So it's like, I don't know, that everyone always has an excuse, and I'm just tired of them, but I keep fighting and keep grinding, and just like with my health. And, routine, practice your thoughts, create your life, and breathe. To close, I invite you to become aware of your thoughts and any negative emotions that may arise. Take this opportunity to audit, your thoughts, begin and stay committed to your self-care routine, and notice the shifts and practice creates in your mind and your life. And don't forget, it's guilt, shame, and unworthiness are the negative parts that'll kill your self-care. And you're better than that. And there's 6 ways you can, steps to having your life you've always dreamed of. Stop doom scrolling and get back to, living life. It's not, just because you had something bad happen to you doesn't mean it's going to continue to happen. And I'm a firm believer God works in mysterious ways, and I could look at it as, why does everything bad happen to me? But I don't. I mean, with my diagnosis lately, with my health, I could pack it in, but I chose to go to the gym and work out and fight it. And, just because somebody else has it doesn't mean it's going to be as bad for you. So why would I give up? I have unfinished business with my kids, and who I love to death. And there isn't a day that goes by I don't think about them, and they're my drive. And, remember when you were a kid, with big ideas and big dreams about who you wanted to be when you grew up? You were going to be famous painter, musician, or a singer, maybe a doctor, maybe an astronaut. You're going to be wealthy and travel the world. You're going to be a big deal, yet you look around in your life and now you think, what happened? Every one of us had a big dream at some point. We start off chasing those dreams with excitement and fervor, knowing nothing can stop us. It becomes the backpack of a rocket fuel that helps us keep finding those big dreams can get heavier and heavier. We like suitcases and trunks full of rocks that weigh us down, instead are lifting us up. Our big dreams becoming annoying luggage we trip over because it's in our way, instead of helping us arrive where we always wanted to be. On that journey to pursue our big dreams, we get discouraged because the detours, we have to take by seeing others, people posting about their travels and their big lives and their joy and at work. And I'm sorry, but I bet you 70% of that's fake. And with social media, and that causes us to wonder why we can't have what they have, and discourages us further. We see our friends and family doing things we always saw ourselves doing, and wonder how we got off track. We compare our bodies, families, houses, cars, schools, friends to people that we don't even know, and feel like we'll never make it. That's when most people stop moving forward. That's when we sit down on our couch, turn on Netflix, and start believing we'll never get anywhere. Theodore Roosevelt once stated, "Comparison is in the thief of joy." When we compare ourselves to what others have or how they are, we are making ourselves feel less than, inadequate and small, yet you are more than enough. You are an incredible human with beautiful dreams, and it is to achieve your big dreams. This is your sign to steal your joy back, your sign to get off the couch, quit the job you hate, start that habit you're always working to, you've always wanted to have, and live the life you were meant to live. Let's focus that energy you're giving to, the doomsday on being the human you've always wanted to be. And let's start by comparing your current life to the life you really want, the one you've always dreamed of having. This way, the only comparison game you're playing is with yourself. And this is your moment. It's your turn. And I've made, a list of 6 steps that, to get everything you've ever wanted. All you have to do is start with number 1. And that's start dreaming again. Find a comfy chair, lay down on the floor, and take some time to think about everything you've always wanted to be in, or to do and have. As we're dreaming, start making this list. Nothing is too big or too expensive or even impossible, so go big. Next would be like I said, there were 6 steps. 2, decide on what what you really want. When you're making that list, everything list of everything you are full yes for doing. You are a full yes for doing. I don't really understand what I wrote there, because I wrote a note here. Why you want it. Keep asking yourself why until you get the real answer. Make sure you really want it, and it's not just because someone else has it. Write it down as if it has already happened. Instead of I want X, say I have X. This lets the universe know you are serious, and think of a date in the future and write yourself a list or a note about all that has happened to you up to that point. Make it a juicy and fun list. Next, I've done this before many times. My parents' wife have hated me. I've had a huge vision board in my room with every clipping, picture, and then I rip it all off and start over, and if it changed. Grab some markers, color-coded, this number 4, create a vision board. Grab some markers and colored paper and create a Pinterest board, or grab some magazines and scissors, and this is how I did it the old-fashioned way. This somewhere you'll see it every day, and it can be a checklist of imagery. There's no wrong way to do this. Make it your own style. Be you. Work on it every day, every single day. Number 5. Once you have, your vision board posted, get moving. Start with little steps like leaving the house to go for a walk instead of sitting on the couch, or looking for a new job on LinkedIn, or calling a friend to meet for coffee and brainstorm. The more momentum you can generate, the more it'll carry you through. 6, watch your dreams come true. Every time you find yourself one step closer to your dream, take a moment to celebrate and thank the universe. You remind the universe that you are all in, and every time the universe picks up on that energy, whatever you believe in, I believe, my faith is God and Jesus Christ. I'm non-denominational, and that's my belief. I'm not making this a religious show, but I'm not. We'll just, for this show, call it creator, universe, whatever you believe in or don't believe in. But every time you find yourself one step closer to your dream, take a moment to celebrate. Every time you celebrate, remind the universe that you're all in. And every time the universe picks up on the energy, the more it wants you to keep going. And don't stop until you have everything you've ever dreamed of. So it's basically everything in life we have always been taught since we were kids. Don't stop fighting for what you want until you have it. And it's all laid out right there, everything I've just told you. And but I apologize for stopping there. I thought that anything quit recording, but I wanted you to, an example of goals I'd set for just War of the Mind. I mean, we can go back to 2018. I started a list. I bought this new journal, and it said, I will come across new ideas for new books, blog, milestone legacy, War of the Mind podcast. The only one who knows the direction I'm traveling is Jesus and God. They will show me my purpose and destiny. My goals are a book, a podcast, speaking, my kids, and milestone legacy. And I'll explain what milestone legacy is maybe in this episode, maybe another day. And then the book I want to be titled Playbook to a New Life, and continue marking topics and dates in my journal to have topics for the show. So I've been going back through my journals and, seeing what kind of relates to where we're at for topics. And, a lot of my topics go back to trauma, family diagnostics, grew up with suicide, had 3 uncles pass away from it, a sexual assault myself, by two different people. I won't name who, but one was a babysitter, another one was family. Recovery, that's a topic. Faith, your beliefs and your overcoming life obstacles. Where your friends play into that. Where you can, motivate yourself and inspiration. Never give up. Overcoming life obstacles is, family's help, your goals. Mine's also addiction. I was a heroin addict, then switched to meth, and and then I was addicted to the needle, and before that I was addicted to opiates and pain meds and drinking at the same time, and my body did not like the heroin, and I kept overdosing, and I probably overdosed over 20 times, and 8 times I had to go to the hospital, in a coma. Once during COVID, and it was the scariest moment of my life, and I still have the memories of fighting for my life and the hardest I ever fought and trying to stay alive. And hearing people, so not seeing anything, but hearing people screaming at me to breathe, and then I'd fade out and it'd go total darkness, and you could hear a pin drop. And I could see myself, and, the picture I saw was just breathtaking. And then I get pulled back into hearing these people screaming at me. I went to, high school in Eau Claire, Altoona, I was born in Eau Claire. I went to college, at St. Cloud State. I was very athletic, struggled with injuries and mental health, depression, anger, anxiety. And then when I had my TBIs, that's when I really got anxiety and social anxiety, and they all lead back to trauma. And so, a lot of this show is about, what am I trying to say here? It's basically, about life obstacles, adversity, showing resilience, and trauma, overcoming trauma, and what I've done that worked for me. It may not work for you, but I'll share my story, what I've done. And don't be afraid for you to email us and share your story, and we can get you on the air and share your story live. But my goal is to be a motivational speaker in the future. Might have to use note cards since my short-term memories will struggle. But this is how I started my book. This book is dedicated to my parents, my kids, and all the professionals who helped me along the way. To all the addicts and people struggling, never give up. Have faith. You can do this. Introduction. At one time I was told I should do public speaking, and I write a book. I was like, yeah, okay, this will never happen. Not only that, what would I write about? And listening to all the professional speakers, what would I even talk about? And I don't even have a story to establish, let alone people that would be interested or even sit and listen. As year one passed by, then 2 years, then 5 years, and here I am. And in those 6 years now, it's been one hell of a ride, full of highs and lows, death experiences, and firsthand at firsthand, nothing more realistic than surviving that near-death experience and remembering every moment of it. Well, like I said, highs and lows from great childhood, athlete, a great in school, also wrestling in college, giving my going from being a cop to an addict was tough. Didn't start becoming an addict until after my second TBI. And I just recently got put on disability. They tried denying me of my disability because I was an addict, but yet I was never an addict before my second TBI, and it sucked, and I had to fight for it, and I'm just so grateful I finally got it, because now I can, not need to borrow $10 from my parents or my wife or friends, or I can, get a place and support my kids, and I get back pay on all that, so I definitely will have money to pay for my daughter's wedding when she gets to be old enough. And, from being a cop to an addict, yes, folks, it's possible, and it's proof addiction can take over anyone. Cops are humans. Now, as a recovering addict, my goal is, to help someone, even if it's a person I was able to, help or save them. I would fail. I did my part. Now, seriously, I'd pray, I'd help you way more than just one person. Currently, my wife is also a recovering addict in nursing. Also, she's been working in the nursing field. While have been working on, our podcast, she kind of stepped away for a minute. It's been more my baby, and I had started the War of the Mind before, but we always had this goal of milestone legacy, and basically a retreat center for people that have addiction and are clean, but they're on the verge of having a breakdown or needing to go somewhere before they use, or they have their cravings and they want to need a weekend away, and that's what we want to start. That's still in the works. Many of us feel like, we are all just here on Earth taking up space. I have my days at my darkest hours where all you can see is my footprints are in the sand, walking towards the ocean with myself being invisible. On the other hand, at the brightest hours, I feel like I'm that bright star in the sky on a clear night. So many times we go through life thinking what happens to someone else doesn't happen to us, or we are the only individual having the struggles. We tend to believe that somebody else out there is going through something worse. At the young age of 39, I'm finding that the struggles keep coming, and just pray I learn something from each one that will help me fight through this next fight I have. Probably losing my wife and getting my second divorce could be detrimental to me. it'd kill me. I understand she's an addict. I understand people don't want us, together because they think we're bad on each other. But what people don't know is they only see a third of our marriage or hear about it when the domestic happened. They don't know about the other 2/3 of our marriage that was amazing when we were sober, and we met sober. It wasn't all using because we didn't have the money, and 2/3 of our marriage was sober. And then we got in a car accident, and the car accident, I feel like, took so much away from our marriage. You know, everybody wants. I'm in treatment court, and they're pushing for it. They're having a no contact put on us, trying to keep us apart, and all this. And I see him do it to other couples, and I really struggle with, the fact that I can't make my own choice in my marriage. And if I want to leave her for what she did to me, then that's my choice. The courts and POs shouldn't be dictating my marriage, or the DA's office. That's totally separate personal life. Other than if, she gets in trouble and arrested, then. But when it's dropped, the no contact by the judge, and then the PO just puts it back on and says phone time only, and then because I tried proving a point back in the day that she wasn't the reason of my use, so I went out and used, and then they put on total no contact because they think that she pushed me to use, and they're making her out to be like this monster that she's not, and I hate it. And they don't see how sweet of an individual she is behind closed doors when it's the two of us or us and the kids. And it's hard when people judge and they don't know who somebody really is, just like her family judges me. Yet, I got introduced to the drug world by my wife, and I know people are mad about that, but it was only a matter of time. I was already popping pills like they were Skittles, and I had a prescription for them, good insurance. I didn't have to pay for them. So, the heroin was just eventually going to happen when I got cut off of my pills. And, they can try right now and keep us apart, and that's fine. But they can't keep us apart forever, and we'll make it. And we'll prove them all wrong when we both are staying sober, and 10 years down the road, have milestone legacy retreat, and we're both still clean. And I know I will be, but if I told her if she can't, I'm gonna have to leave her because I can't relapse. I can't go backwards because I'm not jeopardizing losing my kids again. I didn't really lose them. I just didn't go back and get them because I didn't want them around the heroin when I started it. I know they're probably mad at me. I get mediation here next month to get them back, but I know I made the wrong choice by getting on heroin, but I don't regret not going and getting them and not exposing them to it, because they would have been traumatized for life, and they don't need to see dad overdosing or dead or doing needles and stuff like that. And I hope one day they understand how hard it was and how much I miss them, how much I love them, and think about them every day. And, I'm tired of their mom making me out to be the monster. And when I bet you she hasn't given them any of the cards I send up there or letters or anything. And just don't even let the kids call me on Father's Day. And it sucks because those kids were my life and I would have did anything for them. And, it's just another obstacle in life. And I just have to keep fighting. And it just proves like one thing leads to another. So me having to stay sober helps me get my kids back. Me getting my kids back brings joy to me and keeps me from wanting to use because I have what I want. And, too many people give up too quick. And I could ramble on more, but we'll talk more about self-care and journaling next episode of War of the Mind. This is your host, Loren Johnson, and it's episode 23.4. So I appreciate you listening, and I pray you come back and download more episodes and, so tell your friends about us and get them listening to our show so we can get our ratings up and more downloads. I really appreciate it. And spread the word about our website, ljvoiceproject.com. That's ljvoiceproject.com. And also there's, we're on Facebook, but it's under the LJ Voice Project. And then Twitter is at LJ Voice Project. You can also go on our website and shoot us an email and we can contact you. So if you know anybody that's looking for a motivational speaker or story or like anything what we do, check out our website and please contact us. Other than that, appreciate you listening to another episode of War of the Mind. Have a good night. And I want to thank you all for listening to the show today. I appreciate all the views, and just go ahead and don't forget to share with your friends and family, and don't forget to like us on Facebook, The Voice Project, and we're also on Twitter at LJ Voice Project, and we also check out our email. Our website is ljvoiceproject.com. Email is contact us at ljvoiceproject.com. Or we also have Loren, Loren Johnson at ljvoiceproject.com. We're also on Instagram. All of those. Just write us on our webpage, and we can easily get back to you. Just leave us a phone number. Our WhatsApp phone numbers on there as well. So feel free to contact us. We're always available and free to answer. So I really hope to hear from you soon.